All right, everybody, welcome back. It's me again, Zen. I prefer Zen because it's my roleplay name. We left off on a lot of things. We left off on, I just want to get into why I think, you know, the system came from me. Not why I think, but kind of a theory, or because there's no evidence. I don't have evidence to say that most of roleplay fighting came from me. Like here's the proof. I don't have proof. So the only thing I can resort to is a theory, and the theory that I can say is that just because no one taught me anything, no one taught me how to use logic, no one taught me to put logic into the system and make it a basis for a roleplay fighting system. Just because of that, and I come out and see people doing exactly what I was trying to teach other people to do, but instead I wasn't teaching them. I was running around killing people. I was better than you. Fight me, can't win. Not realizing I was just trying to force my way into a world that wasn't ready yet. And people was just like, oh, it's not a science project. It's not about science and stuff like that. And I'm like, whatever. But they were right at the time. And I was just forcing this logic on them. But the reason why I say that the quote unquote proof that it came from me, because when I go out into the world, which is the next world I went into was Kick. I went into the world of Kick, and I see everybody. I see everybody using science as the basis. Like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, people use science here too. And I thought of, I'm like, wait, how? I'm thinking like, wait, how is this happening? Like, cause I know when I came from Air G, and I'm thinking like, when I was in Air G, I was the only one using science, using science as a basis and doing all this, just using science or whatever. And people was going against me. And after they went against me, I was like, look, people aren't, buying it. But some people who seen me was like, yo, you're fighting the, I don't want to say correct way, because I don't want to put myself up there, but it was like, you're fighting in a way that's better or whatever, and, I understand. So I taught those people, and I start teaching people, and they start making their families or whatever, and they start going out teaching people. So it was like me, but more of me doing the same thing, having logic and going out fighting people and trying to force their way of fighting on them. And that world just became populated with a way of fighting with science, and the world changed to a way of fighting with science. And someone stole my name because, I was up there. I was running, you could say I was running shop or whatever you want to say. And someone hacked my name, and I was like, well, I'm going to Kick because, I don't know no other place that's easy to role play at. And I went to Kick, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's a lot of writing space. I can write forever, it's pretty cool. And I've realized how people fight, and I'm like, yo, people fight the same way like I was fighting. It's like, this is pretty cool too. But I started to like dive in and study the system, because like I said before, no one taught me anything about using science or how to apply science to roleplay fighting. What was the basis for science? So I learned all this creatively. I created this in my own for that world. So when I come out here, I see someone else using science too, and I'm like, how is this possible? So it's either great minds think alike, or someone was just inside. Someone was inside Energy, came out and started teaching. What, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know, because it's like anything can happen. But the only theory that's really true for me is to say that people from Air G came and just went to different spots, Moko, Yahoo, Kick, or whatever, and just traveled all around with using science as a basis, because I guess they couldn't stand the heat of being wrong, because I told them that this is the way to go, and they didn't want to believe me, and now they realize it's the way to go, and they fight somewhere else and teach it somewhere else and whatever. Or great minds think alike. Science is the basics, using mathematical principles for, to determine how far someone else is away from the opponent. And, that would be awesome too. But, that's where I'm stuck at, But as far as from my side of the story, uh, most many of I believe many of Air G's, I mean, many of role play fighting stems from my system. You know, I've been role play fighting for a long time, and almost 13 years. You know, way before a lot of these people are even role playing. You know, and it's just like they come and see a system and come for like 5, 6, 7 years even, and just be like, yeah, I'll be here, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you don't even know the half of it, and it's just like, it makes me sad because it's like, I just want people to know that most of it came from me. And, that's it. People respect me for it, and that's all, but I want to say that would make me let go of roleplay fighting because people know where it came from now. But I love roleplay fighting so much that, so many possibilities with it because I just know how the system works. I know how the system works. Like, I am the system. Like, it's weird to say it like that, but it's like, I am the system. And, I know the system of roleplay fighting, and it's just so freaky. Like, I can't, it's just crazy. And I think that would be my next video because we're almost at the 8-minute mark. And yeah, so that's the reason why I believe roleplay fighting, especially the science part, especially the part where, oh yeah, before the 8-minute mark. And this is how I know it's an adaptation because, I think I'm using the wrong word. I think it's adoption. It's an adoption of my system. Because just for the simple fact that people use science and want to use all that stuff, but they don't use the aspect of time and effort. It's the same system, man. It's the same thing, yo. I can't believe I just realized that just now. It's the same thing. Maybe it's because, like, I'm the only one who, like, abides by these laws of time and moment by moment, action for action, and energy and stuff like that. Or just like, this is just proof that time and energy are the missing elements of roleplay fighting. And if you look around, none of the systems are built on these concepts. It's just built on, I say a bunch of powers and do a bunch of measurements of how fast I'm from you at this moment of time and hit you with all this might and megatons of power. But like, there's no potential. There is no scale of potential energy. There's no how much effort you use. So after it's done, you'll show a level of tiredness or fatigue. There's none of that in the system. There's not a level of how much mental concentration you put into doing that power, how much power left your body by doing this move. There's none of that. It's just a lot of different super mega powers that I hit you all at once and that's the final move. And it's not the way this should happen, it will always, it will always be based on now, instead of like seeing the beauty of role play, like, oh, he did it better, it was cool on this side. Now it's going to be based off votes like, yeah, that logic is more, that logic is more better, and that logic is more plausible or whatever. The voting will be based off of arguments now, who argument is more plausible than the other. It's not going to be based off of what is hardcore sound truth that, at this moment of time, this was impossible because at this moment of time you was doing this. That's virtual warfare. This is the system. It's a system of roleplay fighting, and without these two aspects of it, I don't want to say you won't understand the system, but you won't understand the full capacity of utilizing the system. That's a better way of putting it, and, that's just how it goes, and, it's a step-by-step process. Everything is done. Everything in the world, even light, has a step-by-step process. And if you don't utilize the step-by-step process in roleplay fighting, you would just have a bunch of I don't want to say BS, but just have a bunch of powers all over the place, not structured in space-time correctly. And I think I'm just in the video on that. And yeah, so I see everybody soon. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks. Deuces.